Well, hello. Welcome to an overdue edition of 10 with Tom. It's good to have everybody together again. I apologize for not getting it out this past Tuesday. I have been dealing with some tiredness since we got back from our spring break trip to Atlanta, and so I took a few days off and getting the strength back and getting ready to go again, and so should be back in the office and ready to go as we get ready for a new week and head into Easter week. So a lot going on, and so we'll catch up on all that. But today I want to talk about Beverly. Beverly is not the lady that lives in your neighborhood. It's not somebody's grandma. Beverly is something that if you've ever been to the Coca-Cola world in Atlanta, you've met Beverly. If you haven't been there, you'll have a hard time understanding it, but we'll try and put it in a context that you can understand. Last Friday, we were at the World of Coca-Cola in Atlanta, Georgia, and we had some folks that had been there before and some folks that haven't been there before. Now, if you haven't been there before, they have a tasting room where you can go in and you can try various Coca-Cola products from all over the world. And it's really cool because there's usually like over 100 flavors in there. But due to COVID, they've had to change the experience a little bit. So they only allow each person to stay at one area, and you can only try 8 flavors. But they've made the 8 flavors consistent in all of their machines. So no matter where you are in the tasting room, you're going to taste one of these 8. And they come from various parts of the world. Some are very sweet, some are kind of tropical flavored, but they're all kind of decent. And then there's Beverly. Why is Beverly in there? Well, basically because Beverly is awful. Beverly was a drink made by Coca-Cola in Italy. The best description that I've heard of Beverly is that it tastes like carbonated paint thinner. It's one of those where you take a sip, and on that first sip it doesn't seem quite so bad, but then as it rushes over your taste buds, most people react like this. It's awful. It's awful. And I've been in there so many times where kids are in with their friends and they're trying different ones, and somebody happens upon Beverly, and when they get there, they have that nasty reaction, but then they look for somebody who hasn't had the experience yet. And so they'll go and they'll find somebody and say, oh, you got to try this. This is amazing. I've never tasted anything like it. And they're going to build, and they build it up and build it up and build it up. And then they watch their friend take that same taste and have that same awful experience. And nobody ever forgets Beverly. Beverly's so bad that it's no longer on the market. The only place you can get it is at the World of Coca-Cola in Atlanta. But they keep it alive because it's so awful. Which leads me to ask, why do we all love something that's so awful? Why can't we warn people about it? Like, danger, this is going to be awful. You do not want to taste this. You don't want to go there. Stay away from that. It's kind of like temptation, though. If we tell people to stay away from it, they want to know why. They want to go check it out. How bad could this possibly be? And so they're going to take a sip. And then they're going to have that awful experience. You know, we've heard it said through the years that misery loves company. If you've tasted Beverly, it's a miserable experience. But it's one you feel like you have to share. It's kind of like, for those of you that have never been to the World of Coca-Cola and had a Beverly experience, you've probably had an experience with a milk carton in your refrigerator. You know, you open up the milk carton and you look at the date, it's close, and you take a sniff, and when you take that sniff, it's like, oh, it's so bad. It's awful. And you're like, before I throw this away, I better have somebody else check it. And so you'll call, a sibling in, or you'll call one of your parents in, hey, smell this, see if it's okay. And then you get them to have that same awful reaction. And you'll laugh, and they're upset, like, why did you share this with me? But it's the same kind of thing. We don't want to be the only one that goes through that horrible experience. What's wrong with that? Why do we act like that? And in Scripture, we see in Genesis, when Eve tastes the forbidden fruit, that God had said very clearly, stay away from this. Who does she look to share it with? Immediately she looks for Adam. She wants to share it with Adam. And part of it was maybe she thought it was good. part of it was he probably didn't want to be the only one that was going to get in trouble for it. And so we share the things even that we know are wrong, just so we don't have to go through the problems alone. We don't like to be alone. And so I wanted to see what the Bible has to say about that, about this whole concept of misery-loving company. And I came to a couple of scriptures I want to share with you today. First one is in Romans chapter 14, verse 19. It says, "Let us therefore make every effort to do what leads to peace and mutual edification." Mutual edification is something that's good for both parties. I want to do something that's going to be good for you and good for me. All right? Making somebody taste something awful or smell something awful doesn't seem like something that's good for anybody. All right? So maybe Scripture's telling us there's a better way. And it's kind of funny when you keep reading in Romans 14, the verse that follows that has to do with food. Do not destroy the work of God for the sake of food. All right? And it's talking about how some people have different standards on what they'll eat, what they won't eat, and you don't want to destroy somebody's relationship based on food. That makes sense. Okay? But you want the things that you do to be mutually edifying, building one another up. And then I was like, well, I wonder what Jesus has to say about things like that. And so I go over to John chapter 13. And Jesus shares this. "A new command I give you. Love one another. As I have loved you, so you must love one another." When we love one another, we're trying to do the things that are going to edify them, that are going to make their lives miserable. So as much fun as we get sharing Beverly with our friends and getting those nasty experiences, or maybe it's some kind of goofy candy, the jelly beans that taste like boogers, the bamboozled stuff, we should be trying to find good things that we can share. And the best thing that we can all share is Jesus Christ. Share Christ with a friend. Share the impact Jesus has on your life. And let Jesus make a difference in the lives of your friends as well. Share Jesus instead of Beverly or sour milk or something else nasty. All right, that's what I got for you today on 10 with Tom. I hope that you'll share something good this week. A reminder that this Sunday is Palm Sunday, and so we'll be celebrating the beginning of what's known as Holy Week, the journey to the cross. And so on Sunday morning, we will have Sunday school at the 9 o'clock service. We will have confirmation at the 11 o'clock service, so something going on for students at both services. Then Sunday afternoon at 5 o'clock, we have youth group. Then our Sunday afternoon or Sunday evening time over at Willie Jules after youth group. So we hope you'll join us for that. It'll be a great time together. Then next week, as we prepare for Easter, we have Wild Wednesday for all of our middle schoolers on Wednesday. And so that'll be a great time to get back together. I apologize that we weren't able to do that this week, but we're looking forward to getting the whole crew back together. And so we hope you can join us on Wednesday when you get out of school. And then middle schoolers, if you're staying for a refresh on Wednesday night, a reminder that we do have meals available. And so we hope you'll join us for dinner if you're staying through. If you're not staying through, if you've got to go home and get homework done or whatever, we do want to remind you that pickup time is at 5 o'clock on Wednesdays. So that's what's coming up. Also, we got a big youth retreat coming up along with our friends from Reverb. That'll take place the weekend after Easter, April 9th and 10th. And so if you haven't already got your information in, make sure you register soon. If you need the registration information, please let us know so that we can get you signed up as soon as possible for what's going to be an awesome weekend. And if you can't go this time, don't worry, we've got another one coming up that third weekend in May. So lots going on, and hope we want to see you be a part of it. So good to be back, and I look forward to seeing everybody Sunday. Have a wonderful weekend, and I love you guys.